we're here. We made it.
We're here, finally, all the way. Yesterday was a write-off. I don't think we did much filming yesterday either, because it was just a bunch of shit, basically.
I think that's one to forget, that one.
We're here.
So we're here. There's no real set structure. We're just going to ride some bikes and
see what happens.
See what happens, yeah. We decided to keep the S21s on, and to be honest with you, I rode like an absolute C-nut then.
Yeah.
And
it's that front end, that front tyre.
Incredible.
Done the morning, changing tyres, survived the morning. So we're now going to swap out the S21s for the VO2 slicks on all the bikes. What struck me is it's amazing that we've ridden these bikes from England to here.
1,000 miles.
1,000 miles, and just gone straight out on track.
Yeah, no warmers.
Same tyres, gone. Sorry, I'm just munching on a disgusting crisp sandwich.
That's actually quite nice. Already you can tell the R1 is set for the track. Just get on it and go.
Yeah, the cracker's a bit.
It's just not as agile.
No.
On the vinegar stroke, is it? Just that last sort of 10%, even 5%.
And again, the power, the way the power builds as well. It's a bit like coming down the straight. That thing's like, what? Like really enjoying it, like giving it some. This just feels held back.
Yeah. And once again, the R1's been let down by brakes.
Yeah. It's not even. I don't think it's even the power of the brakes. They just feel really weird.
Wouldn't.
Just like what's going on?
On what?
On the R1.
Are they?
I mean, that doesn't help.
No. I'm gonna have a Mars bar. Oh. How's your eye?
Fine.
I got stung in the face on the eyeball by a bee yesterday.
Wasn't that funny?
It wasn't funny, mate. I was freaking out.
So was I.
These are the two bikes that people want to know about this year, this season. What are you going to buy?
And what are you going to buy?
Well, it all depends how you want to ride it, and what you want to do. And we've done a huge range of riding these last few days. We've ridden in the rain, we've ridden in the sun on the roads, we've come to a track. So it's a pretty comprehensive test.
It is the most thorough test I think I've ever done. You know, we've done 1,000 road miles with motorways, with back roads, with roads that aren't dirt tracks.
Yeah.
Bit of muddy rutting.
Bit of green laning.
Yeah. And some of the best roads I've ever ridden in Europe. Some of them.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been fantastic.
And then we round it off with 2 days here, which is, I think, probably one of the most underrated circuits in Europe as a test circuit. It's
absolutely
never get
phenomenal layout.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal layout.
Yeah.
Really good. Really good. So should we start off with the road ride then?
Start off with the road ride.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, neither of them are very nice, are they?
No. No.
As a touring bike, let's forget the twisty. Let's go touring mode. They're both uncomfortable.
They're both not amazing on fuel.
No, but
but the biggest problem we had was this runs out of fuel quicker than you suck a dick.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
No, but
or you lick ass. Yeah.
Yeah. Quicker than I trombone someone.
Yeah.
And
But quicker than an Alaskan pipeline takes to freeze.
What's an Alaskan pipeline?
It's where you shit in a Johnny, freeze it, and then
that's
use
space docking.
No, it's not.
And then use it as a dildo.
Yeah. So actually, that's
camera shake. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, it runs out of fuel, which in fact it did run out of fuel.
It did actually run out of fuel. 80 miles before the light comes on, and then 19 miles.
It was dead.
It's dead.
Yeah, and I had to go and knock on a weird old French man's door. But it gave us some fuel, and that's all part of the adventure. But saying that, it is very annoying when you just want to push on and you keep on having to stop for this.
Yeah.
That is, to me, that's its biggest flaw. I can put up, it's a very racy ride, super hard. The seat is like, you know, a wafer. There's some race bikes in there with better foam seats than this.
Yeah.
But actually, I found the position not too bad. I found the peg height quite nice, wasn't too pressured on the knees. We managed to strap some luggage to this back, and did absolutely fine. So, you know, the road section, I much preferred riding this.
Purely because of the knees, though.
Well, no, not purely because of the knees, but the pegs on that are so high that it was hurting my knees just because the pressure. Like you're cramped up and sharp.
Yeah.
I'm a big boy. You know, I'm 6'4", and it's not the bike for me for the road ride. And to add to that, when it gets into the twisties and following someone, as soon as it starts getting faster, I prefer to be on this, just because the noise it makes.
Yeah.
It feels more alive. Feels like it's ready to go at any time, and you feel a bit more special on it. Whereas that, it was just a bit like, oh, I'll do my stint on the ZX-10.
I think where it excels is bumpy roads, because that suspension is probably the best I've sampled on a standard 1000cc bike, or a standard sports bike, in terms of plush road holding, bump management, that sort of thing.
That is the ideal word, plush.
Yeah.
It feels very expensive, that system.
It looks expensive. Look at the dom on it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's got a big wanger on it.
Yeah. But you know, again, we talked about this yesterday briefly, but Euro 4, we've got to talk about it, because sooner or later, this is the first sports bike to be crippled by Euro 4, and the R1, the BMW, all of them are going to, you know, next year, year after, they're all going to have it. So yeah, it's a little bit flat. It's flat at the bottom, isn't it?
It's wheezy.
It's wheezy,
and it's so long geared.
Yeah, as is that.
As is that, but you don't notice it so much on this. It just feels like it's been restricted.
Yeah.
And you know, you're checking, am I in full power mode? Like, oh yeah, I am. Oh, and again, same with this actually. The stopping to change the traction mode and all that stuff is a little bit annoying. Whereas the staple, by the way, we brought the EP04 over here, just because it's probably the sexiest, best sports touring,
sports touring, exactly that. But anyway, we digress. But the ZX-10, the front end, the brakes, everything about that front end is super sexy. I love it. I prefer it to the R1 in many ways. It's a little bit. It's not as fluid as the R1, is it? It's not as intuitive in sort of searching for an apex.
It feels so solid and secure that it's a bit wafty. It's not quite as direct. It's not quite as direct. This all like little movements do a lot more.
But it will keep
but
most
absolutely. And most riders will feel more comfortable riding that than this. Because this is a little bit intimidating and goes a bit, and the throttle on it again, we've got to sort of touch on that. I think we spoke about it last year. It's just so bang, bang, bang. Very annoying. But when you're on the gas, you don't notice it at all.
No.
But if you're running through a town at 30, trying to hold a steady throttle and hitting a bump, it's like. One other minor point is visibility. Looking at it, because I've spent the last 3 days looking in the mirror at all the bikes. This you can see a mile off.
No, this is a wanky retort.
What do you mean?
It's wank.
All right. So there's a road safety aspect to this.
Let's bring the IAM. Yeah, let's do that. Come on.
All right.
No.
This is a more visible bike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy? God, it doesn't have to be about wheelies and fucking,
There's no other bike in the world that you can do. You can get away with the stuff you can do on the R1. It's just immense.
Yeah. But yeah, on the road, it's nice to know it's there, and you can draw dark lines on the road if you so wish to do that.
Yeah.
But again, a lot that many riders, like the average rider, as you say, probably won't feel comfortable enough to exploit it. But the more time they spend on it, they will.
Which is exactly why you should go to a track day.
Yeah.
And do it.
Yeah. Which leads us nicely on to Le Track Day. Go on, you start this one.
The ZX-10R has an abundance of grip. I think again, it's the suspension, it's the setup, it's the chassis work, and this is a bike that's been developed by your Sykes and your Rays, very much like Ducatis used to do. They used to develop it as a race bike, and then transfer it, dull it down if you like, into a road bike. And this is the same. And there's so much mechanical grip that you barely see the traction control. You barely see the. I've never had a front moment on that thing at all. It's certainly the most stable. It's certainly the most planted. Like that turn 3 bumps, as you probably would have seen by now. It's vicious. It
glides over it,
slapping like a Spanish.
Yeah, I mean, I went through it. I was on this for the first morning, and I was like, I can't understand how that isn't like cordoned off that section of tarmac, because when I got on that, it was like, oh, it can actually ride over it. Whereas this has an absolute like.
If it was a golf course, it'd be ground under repair.
Yeah, exactly. yeah, that's what it needs. It's not right. And well, there is actually one line through there.
Yeah,
anyway.
there is one.
There is one line that's about 6 inches wide. It's all right.
Yeah.
4 inches wide.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree. I agree. Planted, stable, plush, confidence inspiring on the front. Brakes are fantastic. Grippy as hell.
But when it all comes down to it, the R1 did a 1:49.3, which is super fast. It's a good time around here. The Kawasaki was 1.5 seconds slower.
Yeah.
Which I predicted yesterday it would be about a second slower, and not.
But I think that half a second probably comes from the bottom of that hairpin.
There's probably half a second there.
This gets 10 bike lengths on it because this just doesn't fire up. It's like
it needs another gear lower than first.
Lower than first. Yeah, absolutely. But we've got these bikes to stock. We've got to test them as stock as they come. Yeah. Apart from that exhaust.
Well, stock
part.
Yeah.
And it kind of says it all really. That's quite a big margin.
Yeah, this is a race bike. Yamaha set out to build the fastest, most capable sports bike out there, and they've done it.
Yeah.
Still have.
Yeah.
Which one are you taking home?
This one. It makes me feel more alive. If I want comfort, I'll take the surprise guest along, which has been our camera bike, which has been the GS Adventure. Because quite frankly, you can chomp through miles on that. If I want a sports bike, which I'm in the market for now, because that's sell my Honda, the R1 is everything you want a track bike to be, and it's that good out the box.
Yeah. No, I can't agree with that. Can't disagree with that.
And the Kawasaki, I just didn't feel alive on it as much. Very good.
A lot of that is down to the engine, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just a across the frame flat 4, inline 4, and there's no ceremony, there's nothing inherently exciting about it.
No, but get a full system on there and change the sprocket at the rear.
Yeah. That would actually
gut it a bit, and I think you've suddenly got a pretty Larry bike, which is kind of what it needs. It needs a bit more aggression.
Kawasaki actually building a kit version of this with a full system and a few other tasty bits and bobs, which we'll be testing very soon.
Nice. We'll look forward to that.
Yes.
Should we
go and get a van then?
Should we go get a van and ride home? Yeah, because this has broken my arse more than him.